Which I forgot the last time and drove Alice Horning nuts. Uh, So we got Ian. I assume Stu's traveling, Ann. Do you have any idea? Okay.
Do not know.
Okay.
And
Hi, you guys.
I know.
I know.
Morning. I know Alice Horning told me that she was doubtful for this meeting, so what time do you have to leave, Lee?
if I leave at 11:30, it's fine. So unless the meeting runs
Okay.
late,
I
I'm
don't
good.
anticipate that.
And sorry, folks, but I got to leave about 11, a little after 11.
Okay,
Thank you. Sorry.
sounds good. Okay, so welcome to everyone. We're gonna get going now. Good morning. Hi, Kate. Greg, good morning.
Good morning.
That carries everything, okay? So meeting minutes and approval, I know you had a correction to the minutes, Craig?
Yeah, there were a couple things. Let me bring that up. Let's see, where is it? Let's see, you have me down as saying that extended, sorry. Why don't you go to somebody else and I'll find out what I'm trying to say.
Go ahead.
I was present and not listed.
Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna try this. Let me see if I can do this. Can do that.
Well, are you capturing a transcript as well?
It doesn't do that automatically, or does it?
Well, I don't know, but generally I turn on the transcript at my local machine just so I have it. But
Okay.
I don't see a way to do that in this particular configuration.
Okay. Let me hang on a second. I need to get someplace.
That would be very useful.
I just wanted to say something while you're figuring that out. Someone sent me an article regarding our new senator, Elisa Slocum, and from Vanity Fair. It was excellent in terms of her bio. And for some reason, my neighbor got an invitation to meet with her, Terry Gardner, who's part of.
Okay.
And so I just wanted to mention, if anybody wants to go up on Vanity Fair, you can look at the article. And I don't know if we can get Alyssa to be a speaker for kickoff or something like that, but I think she could be.
And the article's on what?
In Vanity Fair May issue. And
Okay.
I have a hard copy if somebody wants it.
And what's the topic?
The topic is.
I read it too. It's good.
Yeah, it's about her. She's got an amazing
Profile.
background.
Yeah.
And she is. I think it's CIA, or what was she in? May 20. CIA.
Okay.
CIA, yeah, she's gotta be, but anyway, she's kind of a rising star in the Democratic Party.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay, so I wanted to go over this document that Craig sent me. And I've got it on the whiteboard for the people that are in the room, Brian.
It's easy for you.
Okay. Can everybody see this? Ann, you okay? Lee?
Yeah, I'm just trying to make it big enough that my old eyes can read it.
Okay.
I'm just seeing the bottom of a page.
Same, starting with
Yep,
along with their names.
That's what I want.
Okay.
There's
okay.
a couple of
Okay.
things in there that aren't that important. Let me see if I down it.
Is this the same one that you sent out with the email, or is this something different?
Here you go. This is Yeah, I think I sent this with the email.
The ideas for STEM groups.
No, there's another one, sorry.
Yeah, this.
Okay, so Craig came up with an idea to get volunteer recognition into the catalog. And one of the things that he wanted to do is he wanted to set up like this, where John Doe, you tell what committee he's on, LEC for lecture, Evenings with Ollie for EWO. Mike Smith is on Ollie Out of Town, and so on. And then you put a key at the bottom of this. Will you think that would work for the catalog, Brian?
Yeah.
Okay. And then, of course, then we have to figure out what committee everybody's on, right?
We already have a master spreadsheet of it. So
Okay.
just-
And the point was raised at our last meeting that it might require new pages to the catalog. What I'm suggesting here is that the font is actually bigger than the font in the rest of the catalog. I'm assuming the graphic designer increased the font to make it take up the right amount of space on the pages. So if we reduce the font to the same font size as in the rest of the catalog, then there's room to fit all this in without increasing the space.
I don't understand why we're doing it.
Okay.
I mean, this is a volunteer group and you sort of assume that, you're a volunteer and you don't need brownie points, excuse me.
Well, my thought was to allow members to see exactly what committees various people were on. So if they had any thoughts about volunteering, they could contact a person that's on the appropriate committee that they might actually know personally.
I think though that could be just done with, well, we don't have any, the mention like who's in charge of various committees would be sufficient, but
My view is if it doesn't add any pages,
Why not?
why not do it? There may be benefit somewhere.
And if
If
it's
not,
not,
there's nothing lost.
and I
A
kind
little
of feel,
extra ink.
if it's not additional research for you guys, I mean, what the heck,
No, it's just compiling the list.
yeah. Okay, any other, so Alice, you're a nay, or, okay, any other nays?
Guys, would it be, should we just add a line in the proposal form? What other committees are you on and integrate that? Would that be easier than trying to figure out a list?
Well, I think Ryan has that pretty much accessible, don't you, Ryan, or no?
So study group instructors
Oh, yeah,
typically aren't on other committees. I think the majority of them are
right,
either on study group or they
Yeah,
just
or
instruct.
not, yeah. Yeah, I don't think that'd be a good idea, Ann, because, most of our study group leaders are not on committees.
That's cool, but if
And
our,
also
if
it's
our
too late
goal,
for-
if our goal is to encourage, volunteerism, but I'm cool, however you guys.
Yeah. It's also too late for fall anyway, because they've already submitted their proposals.
Right, for study group leaders, correct.
What could you learn about?
I don't know how to do that. It's the out. Ryan doesn't know how to do it. How's that? The volume turned down a little bit for you guys,
It would be for us.
or for
It's
us?
fine.
Okay.
Better.
That sound better?
Louder
Derek?
is even better.
We got to turn off your computer then.
This was for the room.
You can hear us though, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, so what do we
Excuse
want?
me,
Sure.
I finally found the page I was looking for to go back now to the minutes. Just very quickly, number 4, it says Craig using great courses says skipping sessions is not appropriate. I don't recall saying that, but certainly I don't say it's carte blanche that you shouldn't be able to skip sessions. Leave it up to the instructor. So I would like to simply take that statement out.
Okay.
And I guess then we covered the second thing.
So we need to add that. We need to take out to show being present. We need to remove the statement about skipping a session is never appropriate.
Right.
And with those corrections, minutes are approved. I'm good.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Ryan, you want to give us an update on study group proposals?
Sure, we have 77 for fall. And looking back at Ben Richards' 2019 largest year, they only had 68. So I think this is a record. I could be wrong on that. I haven't double checked 18, but
I think that is.
Yeah, we've had as high as 80,
Oh, okay.
before you, Ryan, so, but this is awesome, awesome.
Amazing.
Okay, and I think the one thing with this is that, we normally send out an email every semester and say, hey, would you like to teach another study group? I think we've got a bank of study group that we won't have to recruit as heavy as we've done in the past. One of the things I did this year is I sat down with the study group chair for Elderwise, and I asked her if we could take any of the people that had presented for them and have them present for us, and she was very accommodating to that and said, if people have gone to the trouble of creating a study group, why not let them do it for multiple organizations? And I just wanted to be above board with those people because, I don't want them to think we're stealing their people.
Did we offer to the same?
Sure. Mhm.
So we have 55 in person, 20 online, and 2 hybrid.
I'm sorry, could you say that again, Ryan?
Sure, 55 in person, 20 online, and 2 hybrid.
Are the 2 hybrids pretty good with technology? Before you said that was okay? I know that was an issue with the hybrids.
It's always a work in progress.
Yeah, let's leave it at that. So who's the hybrid besides Arlene?
Eleanor Litton.
Okay, she's okay.
She's okay.
Yeah, I need to talk to Arlene Weiss. We've got a couple negatives. She likes to show film clips, and I'm not exactly sure what software she's using, but she seems to have a lot of perplexity with it, so.
She has a Mac and we have PC equipment, and so she needs the right equipment in order to do it.
Okay,
We kind of rig it a little bit.
yeah,
And maybe a workaround would be having her send the links for the class to watch the clips before the class and then talk about it in class instead of watching it during class.
well, George Farrell and I had a long conversation about this, and he leads a very, for people who don't know who George is, he leads a very popular movie group where we have normally 60 to 70 people who register for it each semester. And George was, like what Arlene likes to do is she likes to show a film clip and then she asked the group to discuss this film clip. And George's point is, if you're asking them to watch the movie beforehand, do you really need the film clip? So I just need to have a conversation with Arlene. I'm dragging my feet on this a little because I want to do it as tactfully as possible, but you know how it goes. So I think that's good, right? And the hybrid are really the only challenges. I mean, if you're online, you're online. I mean, Jerry's been teaching online for a long time and it works very well for you.
Yeah.
I know, Craig Steffen had a class, this introduction to cognitive science, and he might have some comments about his hybrid experience.
Craig, what do you think?
Yeah, first of all, it is complex to be setting everything up for a hybrid meeting as opposed to either a Zoom or an in-person meeting. I found that challenging when things didn't go the way they were supposed to go, for one. Secondly, I found that the Zoom people basically got left out. You know, they could to a certain extent ask questions and participate, but it was not nearly the same as actually being in the room. There's so much you get out of, body language, of viewing something together that my experience was not uh, as good as I would have liked. So I'm not doing another hybrid session just for that reason.
Okay, and it makes sense. I mean, you had a pretty good in-person group, so there was probably only like 2 or 3 people on Zoom, Craig?
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
It might have been
Uh,
better had there been more. I'm not sure, but that's the way it was.
Sure. And you had your hand up?
Yeah, thanks. Hey, how are, Ryan, you and I had a quick conversation a week or so ago when I heard we had so many in person. How's the venue shopping doing?
We're all booked and scheduled and ready to go.
Awesome.
That's right.
That was.
Thank you.
Miracle.
Can I ask a question about that?
Sure, Kate.
Now that you've booked all the rooms, is it too late to change the I set up my study group for a 2-hour window and it should have been an hour and a half.
That's fine.
Can we still change that?
You don't have to, just means you
You don't
can walk
matter.
out of the room slowly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think the time slots are kind of fixed anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's fine. And if there's a group that's coming in after you, because we have you at Washtenaw, Kate, and so
Oh,
there's some,
I'm at Washington. I'm not at Turner. I was hoping to be at Turner.
no,
Okay.
unfortunately, everybody wants to be at Turner,
Yeah.
which is great. And then we share also with the other programs as well. So,
Right.
yeah. Yeah, we're mostly at Turner or Washtenaw.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I love
decided-
I love Washtenaw.
University Commons only.
Hey, you're gonna
only
love it.
2
No,
OLLI classes per
I taught at
month.
Washington last time last time I did a study group and I like it there, but I really wanted to do Turner, but another time.
So I will give you an update on this. I went with Angela Bingham and we toured these new meeting rooms we were considering at New Center. It's okay. And, I asked Ryan to please try to book everybody in Washington and Turner if he could. It's probably hasn't been upgraded in 20, 30 years maybe.
Okay.
And, the elevator, they've got it, so all the classrooms are on the second floor, which presents a little bit of a problem for our people. And there's an elevator that goes up to the second floor, unfortunately, or fortunately, however you see it, because it's kind of cool. It's got an accordion door that slides shut, made out of plastic, and then you go up. I didn't know if that was a good thing for our population though.
Are you trying to hold any classes in Ipsy?
We do want to do that, and I know that Wendy, the outreach coordinator, has been looking at space. Since we charge for our classes, we can't do Ipsy's library.
Yeah.
And same with Ann Arbor. So we're still looking for locations in our own Ypsilanti.
Because Ipsy is a target group for this coming year,
Okay.
is to recruit more people there. I just read a newsletter, and I'll tell Wendy about this, for Peace Neighborhood has set up a new Peace Resource Center in Ipsy. That looks promising, and I don't know anything about it, because
Okay,
I do want to see, there might be potential rooms at the new Ypsilanti Medical Building, the old
Yeah.
College of Business at Eastern.
yeah,
It's brand new, they just opened
Yep.
it, they're gonna take patients starting on the 2nd of June.
that's where my doctor is. I'm supposed to go to his open house.
Yeah, I want to tour the building, see what they did, so we're still looking, like,
Okay.
this is the.
So a couple things that we did is from Elderwise, I pulled a fella who does the history of the calendar. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. We've got another lady that came from Elderwise that is doing the legacy of Anne Frank, the myth and the reality or whatever. Should be good. And for my tours, I've added an Ypsilanti. Hi, Stu. Good to see you.
Hi, everybody. Am I the only one who couldn't get into the Zoom meeting?
It looks like it,
Yes.
yeah.
Sorry.
We're glad to see you here. Zoe, I didn't get a chance to say good morning to you, but good morning.
Good morning. I'm not
Um,
on the picture, but I am here and I thought I had my video on.
We see your face, Zoe.
I don't see my
Yeah,
own
we
face.
see
Okay,
you.
hope it's good.
Okay, yeah, you look pretty. One of the other things I'm doing is I'm gonna do a downtown walking tour of Ypsilanti. We'll probably go just down Michigan Ave, then come Depot Town, and I think there's another one there. What happened? Oh, Ryan shared, okay. Anything else you wanna talk about, Ryan?
No, I just wanted to share the spreadsheet. So this
Okay.
is this fall. Kind of go through it real quick if you'd like.
Sure.
So you guys can get a feel of. So right here is just the category and then the title. Let me zoom in a little bit.
A little bit more.
More.
Okay,
So Monday Painters, that's ongoing. Carol Veldman Rudy, she is in Minnesota. She's been teaching art courses and she's very popular now.
okay,
Kate, there you are. Joan Cohen Jones is teaching watercolor pencils.
okay,
Robin Little reached out and she's going to do another tour of the Kelsey Museum.
great.
Molly, of course, is going to do another art history. Beth is there to do a take two. And so I guess I don't need to read them all.
No,
Ryan, can Will and I get a list of all the newbies so we can contact them this summer?
Sure. I invited them all to the study group thank you and meet and greet.
Great.
We have 35 coming.
good.
Yeah. And some
You
new
said that one of those instructors is lives in Minnesota?
Yes.
Yeah, Carol right here. She does
Yeah.
everything via Zoom.
Are we gonna, would we have a way to invite her virtually?
To the meet and greet.
I don't know how fun that would be for her.
Yeah.
But,
If there are 35 people, I think it's gonna be difficult.
Yeah.
Well, it's just that I'd actually like to meet her.
That seems very difficult.
yeah,
Okay.
she's
Take her class.
Yeah,
yeah.
There you go.
She teaches now she worked at the University of Minnesota in St. Paul.
okay, you want to keep going?
This is Great Decisions is there.
We got great, so to everybody, Stu and, well, I think Stu mainly got us great decisions. Is that true, Stu?
Yep. My
You're
pleasure.
are you the sole mentor or are you sharing that responsibility with other people? or-
I'm the sole mentor, but once I know what the dates are, I'm gonna let two other folks know about it and hopefully they'll sign up to help out too. So it's all taken care of.
Okay, great.
Those are the dates, Stu.
Dates are 9/17 to 11/12.
No class on the 8th. We have to extend it out.
Okay,
And it
nice.
will be at Washtenaw
Okay.
on Wednesday from 10 a.m. to noon.
Okay.
Okay, the class by, it looks like Barb Sharon and maybe Bernie, I don't know who she's teaching with, if anybody. Attention and how to preserve it in the age of distraction. Just read a good book on that lately. I think she might be teaching from it. I'm not sure.
It's Maida and Barb.
Amanda and Barb, okay.
And you got Rudy in student history.
Okay.
John Swanson's new.
Okay,
Julie Hirado reached out. We're doing Kaczynski papers. There's the S for single session.
yeah, great.
Okay. Yep.
Hey, Ryan, a question
Yes.
for you on the number 22, how to lead the multi-section study group. I can't remember whether I asked for that to be in Zoom or in person.
You asked for in person.
Okay, good. So that means you did find a room for me someplace?
I did. There's one little minor thing. We have to end it by 11:45. Is that okay?
Oh.
Because the group coming in at noon.
Okay.
just 15 minutes early, so they have to set up first stuff. Yeah.
And the date of that offering is what?
August 27th,
All right, thank you.
and you're at Turner and DeBro.
Okay.
Okay, so we've got Cal Duda, who's a new instructor for us, doing some Indian cooking. Angela Yang will do her Chinese cooking again. Barb Sherham's gonna do the Unfinished Love Story by Doris Kearns. I think that's how you say her name, right, Beth?
Yeah. This is neat. These are three, ikebana,
Oh,
Japanese art flower arranging.
cool.
It's gonna be,
Take that.
yeah, they're gonna be 3 sessions at JCC. And there's three instructors for it.
Oh, wow. So who's doing the pass of protest, Lee?
One of the normal docents from Detroit Observatory.
Great.
Yeah, I
Great.
mean, there are
That's
two
gonna
of
be
them. The
fun.
first one's the early history of U of M.
Uh-huh.
And then the second one is Paths of Protest. And they're yeah, so they're gonna,
Great.
yep.
Anne Frank, we talked about that earlier. Women Work and Community, Michelle McClellan, is she a new instructor?
No,
No,
she's done, no, she's from the Benton Historical Library.
Oh, okay, so we do have somebody from Bentley, great.
What's the one with no instructor there, Creating Michigan? And not available.
that'll be one of the docents from the Detroit Observatory.
right.
Okay.
The history of the calendar.
She's new as well, learning poetry.
Yeah, right. She's contacted me at the open house. The history of the calendar, all about these, of course, with Victoria. What makes a good photograph? Who is that, Ryan?
George Lavoie.
Okay, we've seen him before. Okay.
Yeah, he's taught twice, I think.
The hiking, hit the trail prepared. It'd be done by Jim Nelson. He taught for the first time last semester. I think he's going to add a couple walks in with that this year. Beer 101 and Wine 101. He's taught for us before. Murder at the Pizzeria and Murder at the Manor. Those are 2 detective mystery games that I'm going to lead. Home Maintenance, of course, by Steve. He taught for us last semester. Roomy Poetry. Is the new instructor.
Could I just stop you for a second? Ryan, the home maintenance, we were going back and forth on the time. What was the final resolution there? 1 o'clock to 2:30?
Yeah, and it will be on
11:12.
11/12.
Thank you.
He wanted the morning. It was difficult because of Silver Clubs.
Okay.
Okay. Let me see, Hamlet, Poetry, a Song with Richard Garrett. He's taught that before. Your duck is my duck. Interesting.
That's Sharon, yeah.
Oh, that's Sharon, okay. She's taught for us before.
Oh, yeah.
Into the Woods with Shakespeare and Sondheim, Marilyn Scott. That's great. Wonderful, wonderful story there. An Afternoon with the Trojan Women, Marilyn Scott again. The History of Rock. Well, that sounds phenomenal.
Yeah, John Hill reached out to us. He's from New Jersey, so it'll be online.
Okay,
And so he's gonna do, I think it's 3 sessions,
okay,
and he's gonna go start from the beginning of rock. the
Great.
50s.
yep. The rockabilly and the crossover, great.
Yeah,
From page, okay, Lee, we've got a little challenge here. From page to screen. Is Kevin gonna repeat exactly what he did in the fall, what he was trying to do in the winter?
he's changed it up, yeah, I think he wants
Okay.
the same kind of format. He's gonna recruit some friends to join Holly.
Okay, I'm gonna reach out to Kevin Lee because I think what he asked of the group the last time was just a little bit much. And he didn't end up with many people registering for it, so,
Right, right.
okay. We got Arlene with her families and film. She's gonna do daughters and parents, this time. The New Hollywood is George Farrell. I'll be co-moderating that one. Music with Louis Nagel. Oh, that's cool. Louis Nagel's a well-known name. Was that a recruit of yours, Alice, or did he?
No, I've just
Okay.
taken his classes in the past.
Okay. Julie Andress is gonna do her self-inquiry. She teaches something called the Diamond Method. I went to her first session last time to help her out a little bit. It seems like a good thing. She only had 6 people. But Mike's gonna do a class for us, TED Talks with Lee. I had Beth recruit the lady from the Humane Society to talk about their interaction with the community here. They've got a wonderful program that's helps seniors take care of their pets in their older years, like they'll come to your house and walk your dog and stuff.
That's gonna be
So
in the.
Thursdays, 2 to 4.
Okay. The real difference between generations, that's Jerry's book.
Yeah.
Cool, good for you. Gaining confidence with your technology. Jim Keen's gonna come back to us. I will not be teaching any more iPhone classes. Just too much of a challenge. I'm not that good with the iPhone to begin with. Of course, Carolyn will be here with her monarch butterflies. That's kind of cool. From cells to symptoms. Good. A STEM, looks like a STEM offering.
She's a medical student.
Okay, great. How does the brain work? You recruited him, didn't you, Lee, or you stepped up and got?
Well, I got the name from someone who served with him on the Chelsea. I forget what the name is. It's not an alley, but it's close. Charlie Taylor is a pretty interesting guy. He's a neuroscience PhD, but he worked for, I think it was Park Davis for many years, and actually developed the drug Lyrica, which he didn't tell me. His wife said he's acting like he's not a big deal, but he is, and she told me. He is a delightful person, and I think he is coming on June 4th. I invited him directly, as well as I know Ryan sent stuff out too. So, and I think he's going to be a great resource for STEM. This came from our inquiry among our membership regarding STEM classes, which I know we're going to talk about more. But
Okay.
yeah, but he has taught a whole mess of classes for Chelsea and has expressed an interest. His goal is to do sort of basic science courses like this. He's not doing how does my brain work? He's not doing diseases. This is more anatomy, physiology sort of presentation. So I'm hoping that this goes well, and I'm hoping that he's going to be a fixture in future semesters.
Can you click on his description real quick? That's hilarious.
But the tofu?
Ham to the left, yes.
Oh.
The 3.5 pounds of tofu inside your head.
That feeds right into your presentation, Craig.
It sounds like he'll be fun.
I think he's going to be great. Just my conversations with him. He's really, he's funny and he's charming, and I think I think he'll do a great job.
I spoke with him too. He's a funny guy.
Okay,
He's really
good.
down to earth.
And of course, we've got Craig doing introduction to nuclear physics. Is that right, Craig? Yep.
Yeah,
And then
and I'm
Dick-
wondering, it seems to appear twice. Here it says nuclear physics is the study, and then in this course based on, why is it twice?
Well, that'll lead us to our later topic about editing these things.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Okay. So, yeah. Not sure why that happened, Craig.
Okay.
Understanding gravity with Dick Chase. But he's taught for us before, obviously. Memoirs and personal essays is the Eleanor Lynn class. Writers Unlimited with Jerry. Does Jerry get much of a attendance?
I'd say 5 to 7.
Okay, that's cool. Nice small group. Writing Our Stories with Jan Price has been teaching for us for a while. Poetry writing with Jenny, that's a friend of mine. She does a good, nice job. Write Like the Wind with Meta. Is Meta teaming with anybody else? She's going to teach that by herself, huh?
You can teach it by yourself online.
Okay. Is that it? Okay.
Wasn't there one about preparing for dying? I didn't see that.
That was this term. with Joan Gumbel. She's coming to the meet and greet too, so we can maybe
Was it
get her to do a
well
winter one.
attended?
Okay.
I think so.
Yeah, I took it.
Oh,
And I had a
was-
little, I'll bring this up to the group. It was a little curious because she had a big presentation on, I can't think of what the topic was, but it was one part of dying, okay?
Yeah.
And she got to the end of it, it took maybe an hour, and she had it scheduled for 2 hours. And she says, well, I can go on to my next presentation and do that also, and that was like the legal things. There's not too many legal things you can talk about. I mean, you're dead, you know. And so then she did the third one when she should have done the second one. So she had scheduled 3 sessions. By combining the first 2, she ended up with only 2 sessions. And I talked to Ellie and I said, this was a little strange. Did anybody complain? And of course, one person complained, that, it's Ellie. So,
The reason I'm asking is I have an idea for winter, related to Diane. So
Okay.
I don't want to overlap if she's,
well, she'll be here at the meet and greet. I hope you can attend, and you
Okay.
guys should talk for a little bit.
okay,
I'd like to
Okay.
be part of that conversation as well.
Okay?
okay.
Yeah, I thought she did a really good job, it's kind of cut and dry. And, one of the big problems with a DNR and stuff is you have to get witnesses to, and everybody talks about it, and everybody thinks they're gonna do it someday, and,
I
Well,
have
that's
a
a-
friend, yeah, okay.
go ahead, Kate.
Well, that's one of the things I was wondering about because it seems to me that you could actually have people do a first draft of their advanced care directive right in the class, which I think is something that kind of motivates getting started with this. It's really, I think for a lot of people, it's really hard to approach that task, and doing it in a class setting like that, I think could be helpful. Then you
Yeah,
have something that you can take home to your partner or your kids or something and go over it and make changes. You've already done that.
Okay. I don't want to get too deep into this
Yeah.
because we have other items, but go ahead.
Okay. No, that's all right. Kate, why don't you and I have a conversation
Yeah.
and then we can
Let's do
hook
that.
up with that other person.
Sounds great.
Um,
Okay, Alice,
I just have a question, maybe I wasn't paying attention, so you do have a Unabomber
yes,
repeat and you have oral history repeat,
Yes.
yeah,
I
okay.
hope those.
okay. Okay, catalog edits, do we still need them, Ryan?
So I sent out a first round to, Jennifer was part of it, Craig, Barb Zarrett helped,
And Lee,
And Lee,
Marilyn Scott.
Ah.
In Lee. And so what we'll do is, once it's put together, I'll just switch it up and give out new pages to new people. So there's different eyes on everything.
Okay,
You could send it to me, I just didn't receive anything.
I
so,
couldn't remember if I sent it to you or not, sorry. So I'll send you the second room. I'll put some of them.
so Ann, help me out here a little. You led the way last time. When will you be ready for that? Will that be our next study group committee meeting, or you want to get going on that before then, or?
So right now, we're creating the study group section, the
Okay,
actual digital copy.
okay,
And so once that's ready, it's the first thing we do. I will divvy it up and send it out. Or you
okay,
can print it out, however you want to do it. It doesn't matter to me.
okay, so you didn't give me an answer. When do you think you'll have that in place?
We're halfway through
Okay,
building it out. It's been about 2 weeks, I think, since the deadline. So I'm hoping within the next couple of weeks.
okay.
Hmm.
So do we have an editing catalog committee?
Help me out, Ryan. Didn't we tried Google Docs and that just freaked everybody out or whatever. So you sent out, was it PDFs and we had to manually send back? The last time we did this, it was easier. What did you do, Ryan?
Same thing we did this time. So the first round was essentially, I copied and pasted the spreadsheet to a Word doc and sent
Right.
those out to
Right.
folks to edit. And
Okay,
now,
so it was a Word doc, so we could change it.
right, and or you could, Craig put like, he uses like the comment section and edit section on his Word doc and sends it back to me.
Okay.
Or Lee prints it out and she likes to write on it, however you wanted to do it. You see
Sorry,
how that-
old
No,
school.
that's totally fine.
Okay.
Recycle, right?
Yeah.
And then now that we have those first round edits, we're creating the actual study group section that you're gonna see in the catalog. And once that's ready, I will split those up, send out the second round. And then, that should be minor edits, a comma here, punctuation stuff.
Right, right.
Other than that, study groups will be done.
I'm happy
Awesome.
to do some more if you want, Ryan.
Send them out.
No problem. I'll probably send it to new people.
That's fine. I just want to say, if
so
you're
that's-
in a jam, I'm happy to participate.
Thank
So
you,
I recall doing the editing right on the spreadsheet. Was that like a time or two ago?
Yeah, and it was a
Yeah, it was
mess.
like, it was last fall and it did not work out well because there's essentially too many hands in the pot and some things got deleted. And so it's, it was just not a good idea.
That's
We're
right.
getting assignments.
Harder to read, I think.
You
for
know, the
folks.
thing about, as I seem to recall, I seem to recall that things got deleted and we had to go back and roll it back to one of the
It was a
earlier,
mess. It was a mess.
pull it out of there.
It was,
Whatever we did last time was good, Brian. So let's just,
Okay.
my
That's what we're
proposal
doing.
to the team is just do it the same way.
And we're going to divide it up by what criteria? Just like numbers, like this group.
I do 10 pages and hand them out to people who volunteer to proofread.
Okay.
And out of this committee, who do we have that will proofread for us? Do we know?
Beth said she would. Jerry always does. Ann always does. Everybody.
Kate,
Yeah.
Jennifer, feel good for some
She helped me
pages?
the first round.
Okay. Zoe, are you gonna do any editing or is that not within your
Sure.
range right now?
Sure,
Okay,
I can.
Zoe too? Okay, great. So cool. Okay, so the next topic is how do we make the study groups more enjoyable for the instructors?
Is there a reason? I mean, I'm not.
Is anybody
Is
complaining?
there a problem? Is there a
Well,
problem?
No, I don't know how you are, Lee, but I know that, and I'm relatively new to instructing a study group, but sometimes I walk in there, you're trying to set up name tags and, you're trying to do all this and you can't get your PowerPoint to work, you'd rather be greeting people as they walk, So I'm just looking for any ideas, if there are any.
Well, I co-teach with somebody
And that helps.
and I'm the IT person, thanks to Ryan, who
Okay,
taught me. And so I have her do all the name tag stuff. We get there half an hour early, which I know isn't always possible. But I don't know, as a study group leader, I love doing it.
love doing,
I love instructing.
okay, sure.
I mean, it's just, the only really downside is when the technology doesn't work right.
Okay,
We used to have someone assigned on Tuesday, Nancy, assigned to help out each study group leader.
Okay. Do you want to talk about that, Stu? Do you remember it?
We did at one point in time have an initiative where for any new study group leaders, we would, I forget the name, we had a, not monitor, but we had a name for that. It was sketchy. Sometimes a few of us offered to do that and we did it, but it never really caught on. I think we just need to ask new instructors if they want to have someone there to help them. The biggest issue has been mentioned is the technology, especially when it's a hybrid class. It's very difficult to lead a hybrid class. And I forgot to ask Ryan, how many of those 78, Ryan, are going to be hybrids just off the top of your head?
Two. We
Just
talked
two.
about that before you joined us. Yeah. just
Okay, I
two.
missed it. Sorry.
Yeah, no
So-
problem.
I don't think it's a big problem. I don't know if any of us have heard complaints from instructors. If we should respond to complaints, but that idea of having an assistant never really caught on.
Well, we did ask all the newbies, Will and I, whether they wanted, us to show up on the first day. So we're sort of doing that now. And we also met with all the new people. We sort of divvied it up. Will did the technology folks and I did the old school folks. We met ahead of time to talk about, anything they wanted to talk about. And then we offered to come to the first class if they wanted us to. And I picked up some packets to, bring and give to them so they didn't have to deal with going to the Turner Center and getting it. So we are supporting the new people in that way.
Okay. And you make the name
Right.
tags for, you write out the name tags for them?
No, because you don't know who's going to come and who's not going to come. I mean, I'm perfectly happy to fold the things and hand them over. But in the class I teach, TED Talks, I have them fill out their own name tags because it may very well be that your name says XYZ, but you have a nickname you'd prefer to be called by. So I figure that way people can, and I just put them right by the door as a little tent and, put out a couple of pens, and that seems to work out. It hasn't been a problem.
Yeah, that's what I did. Let people do their own.
Sorry, Kate. Lee, let me ask you a question. There was at one point you had sent out an email of like 6 things you should do for each study group, like make name tags.
Yeah, we sent that to everybody. And I think we should do that again this fall. I'm hoping that Ryan has a record of that and we can just, change the thing from winter to fall. How
many new, can you estimate how many new study group leaders we have for fall? Ten.
So for winter, we had about 8 or 9, and Lee and I handled all those. I sort of drove myself a little bit nuts by attending the first session of each group, but
I think that's overkill. But
I only did it if they asked me. I mean, I said, "Do you want me to?" And I think 1 or 2 said that'd be great, and the rest of them said, "Stay out of my space."
So I think, I'll get to you in a second, Stu. So I think when we're doing them like in Turner, I mean, we've got Ellie, we've got Ryan, somebody will help us. The only issue I guess I really have is when we're doing over at Washtenaw and you're like in room 28, and you know this feeling, Kate, you're kind of on your own. Although Washtenaw will help us.
Yeah. So again, about how many new, do we have a guesstimate about how many new out of the 77 study groups, how many are newbies?
It's about 14.
14.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to ask for some volunteers to maybe take a couple of those people, if that's possible.
But they are co-teaching with an experienced instructor.
Okay, well, let's look at that. But I think if there are 14, that will be difficult for Will and me to do justice by all of them. So if you could think about whether you might be interested in adopting a newbie, members of the committee, that would be lovely.
Well, I think an important thing to encourage is that they go to Stu's How to Run a Multi-Session.
Right, I agree with that. But in addition to that, it would be nice to have,
Can I be
Kate, just a minute. Stu's had his hand up for a little bit of time. So go ahead, Stu.
Lee mentioned in passing a document, 6 things that should be done to support a study group
it's
leader.
not 6 things. It's a lot more than that. We sent all the study group leaders, both new and experienced, an email that talked about what you should do before class, what you should do on the day of class, what you should do at the end of class. And Stu, you may recall, or you may not, that you sent me a couple of documents that I integrated into that letter. That you've used in the past.
I never actually saw that final document, and
you did. If you taught did you teach a class last fall? You should have gotten one.
Well,
Lee, I think we sent it to the committee, Ryan.
I never saw the final document that you're referring to, and I'd like to include it in the next How to Run a Study group.
Okay,
So if you could please email that to me, I'd be grateful.
I
If-
will
if-
try,
if-
or Ryan, you have the finished document. Can you send that to Will and Stu and I?
Right, I will look for it also.
Okay, yeah, I'll look for it too, but
Thank you.
Doesn't it make sense to have somebody at, with every new study group leader the first time? Because how do you know if you want to have them back again or if they're appropriate and all that? Like, I mean, wouldn't you want
Because-
to just make sure it's what you think it is?
we
Well, yeah,
have
survey.
evaluation forms at the end.
Yeah.
No, but that's, if I could jump in, that's a very good question. And our original intent with the room monitors was that we would have a monitor for every single new instructor to be an observer, to help them also, but to be an observer in the interest of Ollie. Was this class good? Does this instructor need to have help the next time they do this? So if this committee would like to reinstate the practice or at least give it another go, I would definitely support that. And
You know, just a minute, Kate, go ahead.
Oh, I actually would like to be considered a sort of an honorary newbie. Even though I've taught a class before, this is the first time that I'm teaching a class where there's the question of materials and how to handle materials. Like, do I buy them in advance? Do I ask people to buy their own? I'm not sure how to handle that.
Ryan, what do we have? Any policy or?
So. for
Kate, why don't
example,
you
with the
email me and you and I
classes-
can talk?
Okay.
Does that sound good? I'll volunteer to be your quasi newbie guy.
I love that, but I do want to hear what Ryan was going to say.
Yes, me too.
Just for an example, with the cooking classes, what happens is, of course, they purchase the food, submit an itemized receipt to the office, and then we refund the instructor. So I would probably say you would want to get the materials to bring for everybody to bring class.
So I have one question to that. Do you bake that into the price of the class?
We sure do.
Is there a budget for it?
No, we supplement that with the price of the class. So it would say like, so for an example, with the cooking class, it's a one-off. It typically would be a $15, but it's 25 because it incorporates the price of the food.
Okay, one second. Stu, I really like the idea of having class assistants. The one problem that I've had is that it's hard to get class assistants into classes where they're not paying for them.
Well, that's just a matter of our own agreement with Ryan. We talked last time this came up, and that we said that any one of us who would want to be an assistant did not have to pay for the class.
Okay.
And we just doled out as many new instructors as there were, and each of us volunteered. I'll do that class, someone else will do that class. And we
Sure.
can do that again. I think it's a very useful thing, not only for the instructor, but also for us to be observers of how things went.
Okay. Alex, you had
Stu,
something?
the monitor was just for the first session?
Yeah, it was just for the first session.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It wasn't for the whole time. It was show
No.
up. If you're not comfortable, you may want to go to a second one. But the first
Okay.
one was, oh, this will be good. You don't have to do the whole sessions, all of them, right? Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
I think that's a good idea, Ann. Thank you.
Well, Stu, that was the way Stu set it up. So,
Okay, Alice.
Lee, I sent you my email address in the chat.
Thank you. I guess I have to look at the chat now.
So, so are we agreeing that each of the committee members here will pick one of those new instructors and be a monitor for them?
We'll get it worked out. I'll start a list and we'll get it figured out, Stu.
Yeah.
Okay.
If one of us take more than one, it's not a big deal.
If I'm going to do it, I want some guidance on what being a monitor means.
We
Okay,
actually,
Yeah,
Done a lot of
That-
classroom observation in my career, and there's a lot of things, so I want to know what the priorities are.
Kate,
Right, that's why I want to resurrect that document that Lee had sent
Yeah.
out at one time.
Yeah.
So we can go through that.
Okay,
Okay.
Well, and I have to say tread lightly, because you sure don't want to piss them off.
Yeah,
Piss off
there,
I think we should ask if they want somebody in the room.
Oh, okay, piss off the
I
instructor.
Ask a
that-
question.
That's appropriate.
Are people able
I
to
don't
sign
think-
up for Stu's class for free? I don't really want to
yes,
tell a
it's free.
newbie
It's
that
free.
it's free. Okay, good.
Right.
All right,
And
thank you.
I think the point about asking them if they wanted it is good,
Yeah.
because they may feel awkward or unhappy being monitored.
Sure.
Yeah.
I
And, you know,
don't
if
even
they
like
feel
the term
confident-
monitor.
They feel confident what
It's
they're
the
doing.
term should be assistant.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go, man.
And Kate and everybody, for those of you who do have the study group manual, and there are some of them still floating around, there is one
Yeah.
there's one tab in there, and the title of it is Class Monitor. And it had responsibilities of what we do.
Okay.
Oh, cool. I
But
got
I-
one. I'll take a
Either
look.
they should not be, at least not for them. They should not feel like they're being monitored.
Class assistant is the better term. I can't remember what's on the document.
Agreed.
We're here to assist.
Right.
Class enforcer.
There you go, Lee. Get tough.
Okay, so we'll work on that a little bit more. I'm gonna move on. We're going to discussion of how to promote study groups for fall. Is there any way or just, we got a catalog, that's kind of it, huh?
I think what we should do is at some point before the fall session starts, let's say 3 weeks, I don't know what's a good number. We should look at what classes have not been filled to the minimum and send out emails
Yeah.
to everyone saying this, here's the class you might be interested in.
Yeah, but isn't that timeline really quick? I mean, don't we get our catalog like August 31st and then we come to open house September 3rd? And then people, registration for
The first-
courses ends like the 10th of September,
The
so.
first class is September 22nd. So maybe like
Okay, I got you,
a
Jerry.
week before or something like that.
So one thing to keep in mind with that is that not all courses start in September. Some of them start in November. So we want to take a look at what would, I guess, what would start in September that can be filled.
Yeah,
And then we can promote that in a dedicated.
maybe like once a month.
Yeah, just go through
Yeah.
with what's coming up in October.
Yeah.
We can strategize that way.
There's still room.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know Elderwise does it. They'll send you out multiple emails. There's still room for Ryan Willebaus's class. Please register.
Oh, you want to take that? So with the catalog, why I started early, because I want the catalog to go out earlier. I want it
Okay.
to be out my goal is mid-July.
Right.
That would give folks an entire month before registration opens. Because people vacationing,
Yep.
they don't pick it up until later, so there's plenty of time to peruse, strategize and plan out what they want to take. We will have the lottery open from August 20th, that's the date registration opens.
Wow.
And it will end on September 4th, which is the day after the kickoff, so 2 weeks, 1 day. We used to have the lottery open for 3 weeks, and then it just got kind of messy. I guess people forgot what they signed up for, and then they forgot, when they get the list. And so anyway, the shorter amount of time seemed to work out this past year, so I think we're gonna keep it 2 weeks for lottery. And then, of course, if there's nothing that's oversubscribed, those people can still sign up for any study group.
Okay, so I sent out an email with I'm sorry, Ann, go ahead.
I was just going to say, speaking of marketing study groups, maybe in the weekly, we do a blurb about, wow, 77 study groups to, choose from this fall. I mean, some kind of teaser,
Okay,
that's a
we
thought.
can do that, I think, can't we, Brian?
Definitely, well, we can include that with, the important dates when we announce, registration dates and stuff like that.
Do we have any idea of how many people actually read the weekly? I think, Ryan, you told me that so many people consider the paper catalog to be the Bible and look at nothing else. And I think we should try to encourage people and make them aware, at least, of the fact that new programs come up that are not listed in the paper catalog.
We have metrics on people who open the weekly. And then if you don't open it, we automatically send you another one on Sunday. So we have improved over this past year. Melanie keeps that information.
Okay, Alice?
The problem with the weekly is that you give a lot of information that's repetitive at the beginning. And really, I think the weekly, if you want to catch people's attention, should have a new stuff every day. Because,
Yeah, otherwise it looks like, well, like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I
I
got
think-
that up at the EC and I sort of got shut down.
Yeah, I think we need to still talk about it more, but we definitely there's too much information in the weekly as well.
Yeah.
So people don't even scroll all the way to the bottom. Some
Right.
people had no idea we had community partnerships
Yeah,
and we have incentives with them as an Ollie member. So I think we need to look at maybe doing a programming weekly with just Ollie programming and then
Sure.
something else.
Yep.
I'm not sure.
that makes sense, okay.
Sorry, guys,
So-
I gotta go, as I mentioned, so have great weekends.
Okay,
Zoe wants
Diane.
to say-
Zoe, go ahead. Zoe?
I'm losing track. I wanted to echo what Ann said about a little PR in the weekly to say, exciting year coming up. There are 75 study groups, whatever. I absolutely agree with her to give people a real heads up. I agree the weekly is way too long. I click on it, I skim it, and then it seems to come back to me. It's sort of too much information. It's repetitive. And then I probably miss important stuff because I'm skimming it, and I do read it on my phone where it's very choppy. The presentation's very choppy on the phone. But because I look at my email on the phone through the day, that is
Sure.
how I see it. There was one other, I'm sorry, I lost something. Ryan said something. Oh, I know. Between with the open house, with the September open house, I really want to say again how I think we should have a well-staffed, and I've said this to Ryan already, a well-staffed registration area.
Okay.
I think it's so easy for people to be there and say, oh, yes, I meant to register for this, or let me register in person so that I do it correctly. And definitely to have it well staffed and have it well advertised, that you can. And that way you would pick up a bunch of people who otherwise their registrations might struggle in. And I think in the long run, it would wind up being more.
Okay, thanks. Kate, is your background graphic, see you're walking, I'll wait.
Is my
Is your
background?
background graphic design?
Long time ago. Yeah.
Okay,
But,
I'm
but
gonna read,
I didn't do it professionally for very long at all. So,
okay. I'm gonna recirculate our promotional materials that we use for the study group table for open house. And let's just take a look at them and make sure they say what we want them to say and maybe update them or whatever.
In an eye-catching way.
Yes,
That's what you want.
if we could do that.
ideally.
Yeah, ideally. Okay, I sent you all the lecture committee's proposals for STEM groups. If you take a look at it, I don't really want to talk about that right now. We're a little bit busy. If you have anything to say about it, let me know. There's definitely some great ideas there. Lee, I'm going to move on to you. You want to tell us about Leadership Council, anything special?
Sure. There isn't a lot to say, because they had the annual meeting rather than the typical meeting where they cover a lot of agenda items. But I'll just remind you that Beth Spencer is our new VP. Bernie Beach is our new secretary. They switched positions, and we have two new committee chairs. We have a new chair of development, Freddie Kilburn, and a new chair of finance, Robert Stefan. And we also have our new member at large, Todd Grant. And I think there's a lot of excitement about these new committee chairs. They've already hit the ground running. And so that will be, I think, a great thing. I will tell you that Ollie, as of now, is going to be in the red at the end of the year unless a grant comes through. There is still time for you to donate to either the Friends of Ollie, which is a quasi endowment, which is they're going to use the interest on that, or the Ollie Annual Fund. So if you've thought about giving before the end of the fiscal year, which is June 30th, that would be lovely. The picnic is June 12th. It's only $5, and the food looks delicious, including Washtenaw dairy ice cream. They're going to have a ferry bus from Turner, I think, maybe Ryan can tell you, to Island Park, because the parking is a challenge over there. I want to remind you about the summer lecture series, the Preserving the Four Freedoms. The members of Dartmouth and other faculties doing presentations, very timely and interesting. You can find that. You can actually sign up for that now. It's open. It starts July 9th and ends August 13th. It's $100 for the series of 5 or $20 per session. And when you sign up, you either sign up in person or for online. You make that choice at the beginning. And my understanding is that if you sign up online, the videos will be available for 90 days. The other thing worth mentioning is, and Ryan, you might know the answer to this, the Big Hearts for Seniors is this Thursday. They're going to be having dueling pianos at Washtenaw Community College. Do they have any tickets available for that anymore, Ryan?
I'm not sure. If they do, it's very, very small amount.
Okay. If somebody's interested, should they just go Ollie Info? Would that be the place to go?
That, or you can go to the Big Hearts website and purchase tickets right there.
Okay, great. And I just wonder whether Ryan or Beth, both of whom were at the yearly meeting, have anything to add to what I've said. Was there anything else that happened at the meeting that you think it's important for us to share?
We've got a new member at large, right, Todd?
Yeah, Todd Grant. Yep.
Okay. Who is, and out of my own curiosity, who is the chair of social interaction these days?
We don't have it.
We don't have one. Okay.
Lee, do you want
So
to
if
talk
anybody
about?
would like to chair the social interaction committee, please let Beth know.
You want to talk about roles of leadership council and chairs, kind of like you and Will, and that dynamic?
Well,
Francis on lectures is the representative for lectures, but the chairs are Catherine and Jim.
right.
you want-
Well, I'm the representative on the leadership council. I'm the liaison between study group committee and the leadership committee. And so that's why I give these reports and also report from this committee to the leadership committee. The goal is just to have, good interaction and understanding of what's going on. Chairs of the committee who are not a co-chair, like Will, for example, who is not on the leadership committee, is welcome to attend as a guest whenever they want to. So.
Yeah, we've just kind of firmed up the guidelines around that. And so with people who are chairs of committees who've registered with volunteer services, then become voting members of the LC.
Okay.
But if there is a co-chair who is not, or the chair is not, they can be a guest anytime or every time at the
Okay.
LC.
Okay.
But the voting member and mostly the speaking member, for example, would be Lee.
Yep.
But you can chime in.
Yeah, I know Catherine was a little bit, I'm going with Catherine to Detroit next Friday
Yeah.
through Outerwise. And Catherine was a little bit confused, so how,
Oh, well, we've all been very confused.
hey, are you gonna send that out in your old role as secretary, or how is that?
We are gonna let everybody know.
Okay,
Yes.
great.
It'll probably come from Terry, is my guess.
Okay,
Terry and Al figured that out.
okay, all set, Lee?
Yes.
Okay, so I got another bullet here for news and discussion. I think we discussed just about everything we need to. Alice?
Well, I have two questions. One is, I wanted to know anybody's opinion on this, person I might want to contact. Her name is Sheila Schusler or something. I'm not sure. I can't say it very well. Anyway, she's a professor of ecology at the university. And she's really big on how to promote pollination in your landscape. So I did think that conflicted with the bee lady, but because
Well-
she does more than just bees, but.
Well, there's the bee lady and there's also Carolyn Siebert for her monarch butterflies.
Yeah, this lady is more like how to encourage insects in your flower pots.
Okay,
But this
Um,
would be for winter, spring.
That would be winter, spring,
So
yeah.
okay,
that would-
Yeah, oh, not
Sounds
that
like a
kind.
wonderful topic.
sure,
Yeah.
sounds
I
great.
will go to it.
And the other thing is just that I thought we might want to think about the fact that next year is the nation's 250th birthday. And we might want to, I don't know if Ollie has any thoughts about.
Can you guys all hear what Alice is saying? So she just mentioned that, next year is the 250th anniversary of the United States, is that correct? And should we try to do anything for that? I don't know if we will as a study group committee.
Yeah, I just was going to contact somebody who is a head of Bentley Historical Library, who's
Okay,
now a professor of American history. So I thought maybe, we might want to contact people who have some something to offer about the historical piece of the United States.
okay. Zoe says yes, sounds like a good idea. Anybody else? Any other news, discussion that we haven't covered? Okay, Ryan, why don't you wrap us up with the office, update?
We mentioned everything for the most part, so BHS next week. Picnic is the following Thursday on the 12th. Registration will open August 20th. Fall kickoff is September 3rd. The lottery would conclude September 4th. And then the new deadline for winter 26 is 10/10, October 10th.
Wow.
Yep.
So
Do we know who the speaker is for the kickoff?
I can find out. I'll share that with you.
Because I think that's important to know,
Oh,
and
it's the head of the Ann Arbor Arts Center.
I hope that person does something better than what they did when they did a presentation before, because it was just promoting
The art center?
the art center and not really being anything informative.
Yeah,
I'll share the flyer.
Yeah,
yeah, I've been to some of those lectures where they just missed the boat entirely.
Yeah.
Here I am to promote my thing, that's not what we want to hear about.
no, I think people want to learn something.
Yep.
Not be.
Okay, anything else, Ryan?
No, it's called Ollie Fall Kickoff, Paint the Town. A2AC Art in Public, Art and Community. We're thrilled to invite both new and returning members along with guests to an engaging event. That's all I have.
Okay. Okay. So, anyone else have any comments, anything to bring up? Looks like we're pretty quiet. I'll get those adjustments made to the minutes. Ryan's got your notes for the recognition of volunteers. And I think with that, we are done. Okay? So thank you all
That's
for
good.
coming.
Thank you.
Appreciate
And
all
our
your
next
hard
meeting is
work.
when?
The next meeting is June 27th.
Okay.
And then July is an off month, right?
Yeah.
And Zoe, it was your turn to take minutes this time, but I enlisted Jen to kind of help us out, so we should be all set.
Thank you so much. I'm a lousy note taker.
Okay, I don't know that Jen's much better, but.
Thanks, thanks.
I
don't know.
appreciate it.
Well, I do have I do
I
have an
took notes.
announcement.
It looks like this. I mean, I don't think you really want these. You know,
I
look
do
at the,
have,
look at the,
yeah, I see. I do have one small announcement. Jennifer and I are doing the 10K Dexter Ann Arbor on Sunday.
Oh, great,
Yeah.
congratulations.
We're just walking, but hey, we'll walk fast.
Good luck with it.
Sorry,
nice
thank
weather.
about-
Yep.
There was a specific.
Okay, we'll see everyone.
She's waiting. on-
Goodbye.
Bye, thank you.
I
would love to read it.
It has registration
Yeah.
information.
Very interesting.